What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Cheap Seat Chatter. This is our first episode. We're going to get things started on a good note. I'm Dave. I'm your business guy, if you want to call it that, and we'll move around the table and everybody introduce yourselves as they feel free.
I'm Will. I'm the resident coach.
Hey, Coach.
Coach.
You gonna go by Coach?
Yeah, I'll go by coach. So.
All right.
Cool. Yeah.
My coach.
I'm Ben. I'm a writer, sports writer, unofficially.
Sean. I'm usually behind the camera, so I do what I do. You know me.
All right, well, let's go ahead and get into this. What do you have for us so far? What's going to be today's real main topic?
All right, so what we're going to go over today is we're going to go over every single bowl game, maybe some more into detail than others, and then we're going to kind of figure out who we want to win. We have a punishment for the person who has the worst record after every single bowl game, including the national championship. We also have a fifth member who is not here tonight, so we have his results as well, and we'll go over. So that's on tap for episode number 1.
All right, well, go ahead and kick us off.
All right,
what's our
so
first game on the list
first
here? Might as well just get right into
First
it.
game that we're going to go over is the Celebration Bowl, Alcorn State versus North Carolina A&T.
Exciting.
All 5 of us have chosen North Carolina A&T.
Elaborate on that. Do you really want us to elaborate on that?
I'm pretty sure I picked them because they had a better record.
I think
If I want to go back and look at
North Carolina?
You don't feel like A&T, yeah.
A&T?
I did, yeah.
I don't think there's any more to say about that.
Yeah.
Next game, the Cure Bowl, Louisiana Lafayette versus Tulane. We all chose Louisiana Lafayette to win that game. I think another reason that I chose that game was because I didn't want to pick Tulane.
Lafayette has a great running back tandem with Elijah Mitchell and Trey Regis. The Tulane defense is really shaky against the run, giving up 208 on the ground. So let's look really for the Raging Cajuns to take control of this game early. I'm going to go Raging Cajuns 24-20.
The next bowl is the New Mexico Bowl. We have North Texas versus Utah State.
Yeah, you got two teams that really like to throw it around the yard. The quarterbacks from North Texas and Utah State, pretty much the heart and soul of both teams. Give me North Texas defense, though, to step up, maybe get a late stop. It's going to be a close possession game. I'm going to go 40-37 mean green in this one, guys.
All right, next bowl. The Las Vegas Bowl. We have Arizona State versus number 21 Fresno State.
You're going to have good weather in Vegas. It's hard to have bad weather in Vegas, if we're being honest. It's going to be about 62 and sunny. Look for a lot of teams, both teams to throw up a lot of points. Honestly, I think Arizona State's outmanned in this one, straight across the board. Yeah. Good year in year 1 for Herm Edwards and the Sun Devils, but honestly, Fresno State plays way too efficient on offense. They don't turn the ball over. The defense only giving up 13 points a game, which was mind-blowing to me playing out, in the Mountain West. Guys throw the ball over the place, but yeah.
I like Herm Edwards. He's a funny guy. He's a good coach, but Fresno State, they're ranked. They've had a really good season. Just can't go against them in this game.
But coach, you play to win the game.
Come on, Coach.
You do, but
that's right.
Fresno State's gonna win.
All right, fair enough.
All right, so next we have the Camellia Bowl. We have Eastern Michigan versus Georgia Southern, and we all actually chose Georgia Southern in this game, except Sean. He didn't choose Georgia Southern.
Boy.
Eastern Michigan. That's right.
Eastern upset. Eastern Michigan. That's right. Yeah, and I cannot elaborate on that at all.
That's a good pick, right? That's a good pick.
But you always got to swing for the fences, and I'm swinging this time. I don't think nobody watches this game. That's what I'm going for.
I don't know enough about it to fight you over it.
Exactly. So just leave it alone. I'm going to win this pick. And y'all are going to have whatever punishment it is. I'm shooting for you, boys.
We'll leave it at that. We'll leave you to that statement. Bold move, Cotton.
All right, so our next bowl game is the New Orleans Bowl. We have Middle Tennessee versus Appalachian State. Dave, you want to kick this off?
Yeah, sure. I think it's going to be the best game on the first slate as far as the December 15th games go. App State, great year. 10-2 is a solid year for obviously most teams. Definitely an App State team that's way under the radar. Scott Satterfield left App State. He moved on to, I believe, the Louisville job, if I'm not mistaken. So I don't look for App State to come out motivated at all in this game. He's gone. He's not even going to be on the sidelines like the Utah State situation. I'm taking an upset alert here. Give me Middle Tennessee close, like a 27-26 type game, late possession. You have Middle Tennessee with a coach-quarterback combo in the Stockstill family. coach and quarterback.
All right, the next game we have is I think is very personal and close to all of us with who's playing. We have the Boca Raton Bowl, Northern Illinois versus UAB, and I'm gonna start this one off. For UAB to have gone through everything that they had to go through, pretty much the death penalty, didn't have football for 2 years?
2 years,
2 years. To come back, first season, only lose, one game?
2. They lost 2.
They lost 2 games. I know the first game they lost was a bad loss. I don't think that team had a win at that point. But for them to have come back the way they have in the past couple of years, and their coach to win National Coach of the Year,
and the Eddie Robinson Award,
and win their conference. I mean, it's UAB all the way for me. All right, next game we have is the Frisco Bowl. We have San Diego State versus Ohio. Just gonna kind of run through this one real quick. I chose San Diego State.
I took San Diego State also.
I don't even remember who I chose. I'm going with San Diego State.
Also, out of the guys on the
Thank you.
Out of the guys on the set, I'm the only one that took Ohio.
Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting.
Russell as well took Ohio.
Okay.
Hey,
Good
you
company,
put him on the bandwagon.
Good company.
I'm giving that one to you.
You got an intriguing matchup, to say it nicely. San Diego State plays really good defense, especially against the run. Only giving up 94 yards on the ground, which is impressive. Playing in the Mountain West, so it's tough to go against that. But Ohio's a top 10 offense nationwide, not just in their conference. I mean, they're a nationwide top 10 offense. I looked at them to score points.
Yeah.
And I'm going to take the underdog Ohio Bobcats in this one, guys.
All right.
I mean, it's hard to pick Ohio over San Diego. I mean, come on.
Hey, Ohio, hotbed for recruiting. Got a lot of good athletes in Ohio.
If you're the good school in the state, then sure.
Yeah, if you're the Scarlet and Gray, maybe.
Oh, man. All right, so the next game we have is the Gasparilla Bowl. We have South Florida versus Marshall. This is another one of those games where a lot of us had the same type of mentality of who we were going to pick. But our good friend Davey decided to pick Marshall.
I'm the only one again. Solo man. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. To me, it was a tough decision. Basically, the game's in Tampa, which is literally in USF's backyard. Yep. So, kind of home field advantage for that one. But USF's quarterback, Blake Barnett, former Alabama QB, status in question. Don't know if he's going to play in this one, guys, which is definitely a debatable subject to how USF will do. Also, USF's defense, not great. They gave up 558 yards to a backup quarterback in the UCF game a few weeks ago. That's not a good look to me. Give me Marshall to sneak this one away. They got a really solid guy, Tier Brady, at receiver. He's probably going to torch the Bulls' defense, if I had to imagine.
All right, we are.
All right, so the next game is the Bahamas Bowl. We have FIU versus Toledo.
Will you took Toledo?
Yeah, I took Toledo. This was one of those games where I couldn't really decide who I wanted to pick. I don't think that the spread was I think it was a pretty close spread in this game.
It was.
So this was just more of kind of a gut feeling for me. So I had to pick Toledo in this game.
I mean, okay. I don't know why you picked Toledo.
Just a gut feeling.
I stick
it's
to
a
what
gut
I
feeling.
said.
Okay.
Florida's better than Ohio.
Exactly. we
found a trend here with Mr. Bundy.
That changes later, don't worry.
Yeah, I'm sure. But
all right, so next game we have is the Potato Bowl. We have Western Michigan versus BYU. All across the board, we picked BYU in this game. I just think they have a better team than Western Michigan. And it's the Potato Bowl, so I mean,
yeah, you're playing on the blue field at Boise. So you basically played at Boise State.
Yeah.
Western Michigan probably has never played on that field. If I had to take a wild shot in the dark, give me BYU since their colors are similar. Maybe they use the blue field to advantage. I think BYU is a superior team all across the board. Western Michigan. How many people have actually watched them play a competitive ball game? Across the table, probably not. Yeah, give me the Cougars in this one, maybe 27-21, somewhere in that neighborhood.
Well, we have Wake Forest and Memphis. We all chose Memphis in this game. I would say that I chose Memphis because I rooted for them a couple of times this year when they played a certain team in Florida. And also, they had a running back who was top 3 finalist for the Doak Walker Award this year.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know, they
Daryl Henderson's the real deal.
He's got, you know, that's an explosive offense when you have a running back who can make plays like that, and you know the quarterback can make plays too. But it's nice having a guy that can make plays like that standing beside you behind you.
They're another one of those teams who kind of gets overlooked.
Oh yeah,
if you
absolutely,
actually-
absolutely.
But they're on the rise. They just need to get right over that hump.
All right, so the next game we have is the Armed Forces Bowl.
That's a tough one.
Voices.
Voices.
The Armed,
Yeah, went a little
the Armed Forces Bowl.
little New Jersey accent there. Voices.
I got you, Will. So this is Houston versus Army. And aside from, I'm assuming, who is this? Davey here? Dave
Is
here?
that Will?
That's
That's
Will.
Will,
Oh,
yeah.
Will took Houston.
Will
Sorry
definitely
about
took
that. I didn't
Houston.
No,
know
yeah,
this was
don't
so-
put.
So okay, so the reason I took Houston, I really wanted to pick Army. It's the Armed Forces Bowl. You know,
But
it's.
They
I
just
needed an upset pick, and
so you
Okay.
picked this.
I picked this one.
Wow.
You picked against
Now look-
the
now look.
10-win Army team.
It's possible. Yeah, it's possible. You know,
Yeah.
Army's got a tricky offense. You know, the
You got
system that they run in is tough to defend, but I think Houston wins a close one. I think it's going to be one of those 31-30, 31-28 games.
I disagree. I mean,
we all do.
okay.
This
Understatement.
is my pick that I'm
Houston
probably not
has
gonna
had
get
their
right.
problems this year. I wouldn't expect
They
them
have
On and off
they
the
have.
field.
on and off the field.
They have.
And
And they
some
won't-
were on the field in Ed Oliver's
They
case.
won't have Ed Oliver either because he's sitting out. He's about to enter the draft.
He quit playing a few
Exactly.
weeks ago.
Yeah. I mean, Ed Oliver's been having problems with this coach. I don't know if other players have been having problems.
Can I change my
But
pick?
you
No,
can.
no,
You can. But
absolutely not. No, you
not
locked
on
it
this
in.
show. You cannot.
Yeah.
It is on the sheet, ladies and gentlemen. There is no taking this
Can
back.
we get a zoom in
Yeah,
on it? No.
we'll get a zoom in on this later.
That's
We'll get
later.
it later.
All right.
Not only, real quick, if you don't
Go
mind,
ahead.
not only Ed Oliver out, Derek King is out, the Houston quarterback. You
Yes,
explain
so
that
you're
to me.
missing your best player on both sides of the ball.
Yeah. So good luck with the Houston pick. Now, if you're right,
That
by
makes
all
us,
means,
I mean, yeah, sure.
give us as much BS as possible.
But against Army in the Armed Forces Bowl.
Yeah, I know.
did you see what they did to Navy? I
I
think
was
they held
about
the
to
ball
say,
for 48 minutes.
Did you see
Exactly.
what they did against Oklahoma?
Yeah.
By chance.
They-
No offense
They
to our
just-
intern back there running the camera. Yeah, Oklahoma, man, I don't know what you're doing on
What did
defense.
they-
I apologize.
They lost to Oklahoma, what, 10? I mean, come on.
No, 7.
7. Oh,
They went to
excuse me.
overtime.
I
Seven.
disrespected them as bad as Will
Yeah,
did.
one score game there.
In overtime.
In
yeah.
overtime.
Was it 2 overtimes or just 1?
I think it was just one. I believe it was just one, yeah.
It was a close
I mean, Army's not built to go quick score in overtime.
That's
It's just
not
8-minute drives or nothing.
Yeah, 4 yards at a time.
4 yards in a cloud of dust right there.
I'll just have to take that L on the chin. All right, so the next game we have is the Dollar General Bowl. We have Troy versus Buffalo.
Speaking of L's on the chin, who wants to explain this Buffalo pick?
Yeah, you picked
Sean.
Buffalo, sir. That's not a bad pick, though.
It's
Buffalo's a
not
good
the
team.
worst.
Buffalo's a good school. I mean, I feel like that I really can't elaborate on this choice, honestly. I went against a Troy team who is in the state of Alabama, which is kind of a cardinal sin if you do live in Alabama. So,
Unless it's Auburn.
But we're being
Unless it's Auburn.
you're being objective. You're
Yeah.
being a good
You're being
Exactly.
professional.
analyst to the
doing
show
what I'm
here.
supposed
Yeah,
to do.
absolutely.
So I don't know. I just went with Buffalo because their basketball team is looking pretty good this season.
Hey, Khalil Mack played there. Let's not forget
Khalil Mack did play there.
Their basketball team is like undefeated right now. So I was like, you know what? Maybe their football team
Hey,
can do it.
it's
too.
contagious.
It's contagious, exactly.
Unless you are rooting for the Alabama men's basketball team, and it's not contagious.
Yeah, let's not even go there because
Just
that's
saying,
a
we're
whole-
bringing it
Talk
up. We're
about
bringing it
that on a
up.
different show. I'm gonna go cry for a second here.
All right, so next game we have is the Hawaii Bowl. We have Louisiana Tech and Hawaii. In this game, I chose Hawaii because it's the Hawaii Bowl.
You didn't want to pick against Hawaii in the
I-
Hawaii
Yeah, I didn't
Bowl?
want to pick against
That's
Hawaii.
a bold
That's-
move, man. I'm not sure. Like,
That's
have a trade going here.
Yeah, I know. I decided that I would kind of try to redeem myself and pick Hawaii, but it's probably not going to redeem anything.
it's crazy to me, guys. They're playing. Let's just, in case nobody missed it, they're in Hawaii, right? Is that where we're going? Okay, so we have Hawaii and Hawaii playing La Tech. That's 3,000-mile travel time for the La Tech team. Hawaii's a 1-point favorite right now.
It doesn't surprise me.
1 point though, but
That's
still,
crazy, though.
it's as much home field advantage as
Yeah.
traveling that long, jet lag, everything else. It blows my mind. I think this whole Hawaii game is a lock. If you're putting money on this, you take Hawaii all day, every day,
Yeah.
and you walk away smiling come the end of this game.
All right, so next game. First Responder Bowl. We have Boston College versus number 25 Boise State. We'll start it off.
Boise State is one of those teams. It's a lot like BYU. I didn't say this earlier. There's certain teams that aren't in the bigger conferences, but they easily could be.
For sure, yeah.
Boise State's one of those teams. Every year they're ranked, sometimes higher than other. And BYU historically, they're always one of the big ones.
Yeah.
In these games against like your middle of the road ACC teams like Boston College here, I mean, it's a Power 5 against a Group of 5, but Boise State puts a better team on the field than Boston College pretty much every year. And it's not different this year.
I mean, if we're talking about the Boise State team who pulled off the Statue of Liberty play, then maybe.
Who did they put? That was Oklahoma again, right?
I think
that was
definitely Oklahoma. Yeah,
Fiesta.
I was gonna say Clemson, but that would just.
No.
We gotta get an intern that pulls for a good
shots.
team.
Yeah.
Good
It's
Lord.
okay.
But if we're talking about that team,
3 straight years without the Red River.
yeah, okay, whatever. We don't know where that voice is coming from.
Not
But
this year.
Stay quiet.
anyways, if we were talking about the Boise State who pulled off the Statue of Liberty thing, Statue of Liberty play against Oklahoma, I would probably agree with you. But
Hey, they pulled off upsets since.
I-
Do you remember a certain LeGarrette Blount punching a guy in the face because Boise State?
hey, he punched him all right.
Yeah.
LeGarrette Blount.
They upset big
That's-
teams. Oregon, Oklahoma. They run through their conferences. You know.
Yeah, but AJ Dillon. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, there's a 50% chance of rain in the forecast at this point. So
Yeah.
I'm with Sean. AJ Dillon's probably going to have a big game, but
Yeah.
I still have to lean towards Ben's strategy here. Boise State, known giant killer. Like most teams don't even schedule them in the regular season now because they're actually worried. I do not want to take that mid-September, mid-October loss to a Mountain West team.
I'll make Sean's point. You're talking about if it was the Boise State from 2007. If Doug Flutie's trotting out there for Boston College, sure, why not? But he's not.
You make a valid point. AJ Dillon. That's all I got to say.
Hey,
Flutie
stick
flakes.
with it.
All right, so the next game we have is the
Weird
Quick Lane Bowl. We have Minnesota versus Georgia Tech. All across the board, we all pick Georgia Tech. My reasoning is a triple option. It's a really hard offense to
It's
stop.
hard to scheme for.
You can't. There's so many different.
You say that, but you took
and
Houston
Army,
against
I know,
Army.
I know.
Hey, but Georgia Tech's been running this for like 300 years,
Yeah.
it seems.
Yeah,
like, so
before football was a thing.
you want to talk about 4 yards at a time.
Yeah, ugly football. But I mean, what better way to send out Paul Johnson than to get a W in the Motor City
And
in
then
Detroit?
All right, so next game we have is the Cheez-It Bowl. We have TCU versus Cal.
Can I just point out these names?
The
I'm sorry.
Cheez-It
I
Bowl?
just,
The
No,
Cheez-It
I've been
Bowl.
holding it in, but some of these bowl game names, I'm sorry.
I actually like that one.
What's better, the Cheez-It
'Cause I'm
Bowl or the
hungry.
Potato Bowl?
Oh, dude, Cheez-It Bowl, no
Cheez-It,
question.
I
You know how
mean-
many flavors you can get out of Cheez-Its?
Oh,
No, it's true.
man.
That's true.
I
It's a
mean,
magic
potato bowl, you
flavor.
pretty much
Yeah,
have
sweet
mashed
potatoes.
and baked and sweet potato.
Hey,
But that's not even the same thing.
Sweet potato's not even, it doesn't say sweet potato bowl.
Yeah, it's potato,
Potato
bowl.
bowl. I mean, at least you get French fries. I mean,
It's not, that's a stretch there.
that's a stretch.
That's a stretch. You can get Cheez-It in
Oh.
Chex Mix, but it's not, that doesn't count, you know?
That is true. That is true. All right.
You can just make up rules.
All right, so we have TCU versus Cal. Everybody across the board except Russell, who is not here.
I don't think we've even said his name yet.
I think we've
We-
said like
No,
said
you
it
actually
once.
no, he didn't.
No,
mention
he
I
it.
didn't.
said it once or
And-
twice.
Did
Now,
you?
He said somebody, we have a fifth member, but we
Yeah.
never introduced
I
Russell.
don't think
Yeah.
Russell's
Okay.
name was brought up. I just
We'll-
clapped like a woman.
We'll
Like a-
we'll introduce him after we get done with this pick.
Yeah.
We all chose
Damn,
TCU.
we had a chance.
Russell chose Cal. I don't know his reasoning, probably because those are the only 3 letters he knows how to put together.
I mean, TCU's
Man.
not hard to put together either.
Taking shots at the man.
I'm sorry.
Cal.
He's not even here. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But no, I think TCU, they're in a better conference. I think they're overall a better team than Cal. All right, so our next game we have is the Independence Bowl. We have Duke versus Temple. Davey and Sean, y'all picked Temple. Everybody else picked Duke. I'm going to let y'all start this off.
Well, Temple, if y'all haven't paid attention to them during the season, they gave some teams like a run.
A lot of headache.
Yeah.
That's true.
So that's why I picked Temple because they had a really good season.
Yeah.
But see, Duke's one of those teams. They were
ranked.
ranked at one point in the season.
Yeah, 25th.
Like you were talking about, Temple finished strong, Duke started strong. It's one of those games where both teams are capable of beating anybody and then also losing to anybody. And for me, Cutcliffe's still at Duke.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
he's an Alabama coaching family.
That
So
is
for
true,
me, that
yeah.
was the edge for
Yeah.
me. It's just, you know.
That's fair.
All right, so the next game we have is the Pinstripe Bowl. We have Wisconsin versus Miami. We all picked Wisconsin. Russell picked Miami. Don't think
Yeah,
he's
Russell's not gonna be
watched
right.
much football this year.
I
So
don't think so either.
look, Wisconsin, they have the running back, the one adult Walker,
Jonathan Taylor.
Jonathan
There you
Taylor.
go. Seems like they always have.
Now,
Yeah.
Running back that's nominated
game-
for an
Yeah.
award.
they
Just look at the football.
Exactly.
they didn't have the best year. They had,
Understatement.
I agree with that.
but they've got an explosive running back. And when you have an explosive running back that can make the plays that Jonathan Taylor can make,
You can control the clock there.
exactly. So
I don't-
He needs 4 yards to get you 5.
You
I
know,
mean,
I don't think they have an explosive running back. I think they have the most explosive running back.
And an
In
offensive
college
line
football,
that can block
yeah.
for him.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Which makes a big difference.
Definitely.
absolutely.
I think he's the best running back of this class.
All right, so the next game we have is the Texas Bowl. We have Baylor and Vanderbilt. 3 of us picked Vanderbilt, 2 of us picked Baylor. I picked Vanderbilt, SEC. In this case, they have a really good quarterback. Shermer can make some really tough throws. Obviously they play in the SEC, so they're not playing a lot of, they're not winning a lot of games with the teams that they're having to play.
Yeah,
However,
I agree with that.
they're making big plays. Their quarterback's getting looked at as one of the top quarterbacks coming up into the draft. And with his dad being the head coach of the Giants and them having that quarterback situation, that could be
Something.
something that could make him a high draft pick. However, he's not one of the top 5 quarterbacks, I don't think, in the SEC. Maybe 5,
Oh, man, I
6.
don't know. It's tough.
It's
It's
tough.
tough
He's a
debate.
good quarterback. Don't get me
We
wrong.
may come back to that at a later
Yeah, we may come back to
time.
that later
Yeah.
on. I think with them, with the competition that they have to play each and every week. Now they routed Tennessee, or was that Missouri?
No, Tennessee.
It was Tennessee.
Yeah. So
Second straight year that's been a
like
problem
they
for
destroyed
Tennessee.
Tennessee, and I'm pretty sure Sherman had a really good game that game.
He did. He
So-
played great.
He would have had to.
Yeah, I mean, so I Vanderbilt all the way on that one.
For me, like you just touched on it a little with Vanderbilt. They're always one of like the laughing stocks of the SEC, but it's the SEC.
Yeah.
You're not the laughing stock of the ACC or something where
Yeah.
it goes too deep. They're losing to 4 or 5 really, really, really good teams a year. I mean, they played Notre Dame this year,
Yeah.
and they
Yeah.
played them hard
They played
this
them
year.
really
in
hard,
South
yeah.
Bend.
At Notre
So I
Dame.
mean, you're talking about losing to teams like Georgia, Notre Dame. I'm
Florida.
sorry, where did they end up ranked? All in the top 10.
Yeah, top 5, actually.
5, yeah.
I mean, Florida's number 10.
Yeah.
So you're talking about 3 of their losses are the
Yeah.
top 10 teams. So they're a team that gets overlooked because of the record, but nobody really takes into consideration who they're losing to.
And it's hard to recruit to a school that has a 10% acceptance rate.
It's true.
It's not you can't exactly go get anybody you want to.
Look,
And
let's
against
just
the-
say, I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
Let's just say I would like to change my pick.
All right, so next thing we have is the Music City Bowl. We have Purdue versus Auburn. I don't like picking Auburn in anything,
I don't mind it.
but and they got a lot going on right now with a head coach who's a moron, and
Man,
they bring in
that's
the
strong.
offensive.
I'm
Can you
feeling
say that?
Can you say moron on TV?
some bias here.
Yeah. Take off the crimson and white
They have
glasses.
a head coach that's not a very good head coach.
That's a fair statement.
You're going to say moron.
and
We had one good year.
But here's the thing. Yeah, he had one good year. But here's the thing. They bring in an offensive coordinator. They bring in an offensive coordinator who played linebacker.
Yeah.
You talking about in high school?
Yeah,
Dude never played in college.
exactly.
In high school.
And you've seen
Like
what
Russell.
he does.
I don't trust Gus. I don't trust the player buy-in at this point, at least right now. I mean, you have Asa Martin transferring with that whole red shirt mishap. New OC, he's definitely not going to have time to implement anything. It's going to be Gus running the show, and that's a hit-or-miss equation, for lack of a better term, too. Jeff Brom just signed an extension with Purdue. That's huge for Purdue. They thought he was going to go to Louisville. He spurned his own school, his own alma mater, so I took honestly the emotional factor with Purdue to play big in this game and Auburn to be so confused by the off-field BS that they're not even going to be ready to play this game at all.
All right, so next game we have is the Camping World Bowl. We have number 20 Syracuse versus number 16 West Virginia.
Is this the first ranked matchup?
This is the first
Is that
ranked
right?
versus ranked matchup. Yes, it is.
Yeah, ranked versus ranked, yeah.
I picked Syracuse solely because Will Greer is not playing in this game. Syracuse has a good quarterback when he can stay healthy. He makes a lot of explosive plays. But I think in this game, you're really going to have to focus on not hurdling defensive players, staying in the pocket, making things happen, and try not to get yourself hurt and costing your team a win.
What year is Eric Dungy, the quarterback? Does
He's a
anybody know?
fifth year, I think.
So he's got a chance. I mean, watching him play, he's got a chance to go pro. So a team will take him, and I think
against the West Virginia defense that
it's not the best defense.
they're not the best defense,
no
but
sugarcoating
against the
that.
West Virginia team, it's going to be kind of looked at as Will Greer didn't play, even if they win.
My mindset is Will Greer's not playing, but I can see Dungy at Syracuse, kind of the same mentality of, like you said, there's going to be certain situations where he's the chance to tuck and run and take a hit for that extra 5 yards, or just throw it away. And if he's looking at his future, maybe you just throw some more balls away than you do try to pick up those extra yards, and that might play against Syracuse because that's a big part of their offense is him just freelancing. If y'all watched any of the games, that's what they do.
All right, so the next game we have is the Alamo Bowl. It's another ranked versus ranked matchup. We have number 24 Iowa State versus number 13 Washington State.
This one's interesting.
This one was
We all
tough.
picked Washington State, and I get it because for a while they looked like they had a chance to get to the playoff.
Dark horse.
But they do that thing that all those teams that aren't used to winning do and slip up at the end of the season.
It's crazy. I think we all were pretty set on Washington State, and then we got here pre-show, and all of a sudden it's like, are we sure Washington State's the team that we think they are?
It's definitely going to be.
I'm still with them.
Yeah.
Another thing is, Gardner Minshew is a quarterback who's played in the snow this year.
Oh, man, what a game that was.
The rain in
He
Washington
played in the rain.
State,
And in that stadium, you
Yeah.
play in really, really bad weather. And they're in the Alamo Bowl. So
Dry.
it's dry.
Yeah.
I mean, I think he's going to have a great day. I
Look,
think it's
I
going to
agree
be
with you.
really close. If that offensive line can contain the defensive line, I think Washington State wins easily. But if that defensive line starts getting through, it could be a long day for Gardner Minshew.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good point right there. Weather plays a big part of the game.
Yeah.
So.
All right, so the next thing we got is the Peach Bowl, another ranked versus ranked matchup. We have number 10 Florida versus number 7 Michigan.
They're playing again?
The first top 10 matchup, and
Didn't it
we've
seem like
seen
these
this
guys
movie.
play so many
We've
times?
seen this movie before a couple of years ago to start the season.
Yeah.
And it didn't go well for Florida.
They're actually 0-4 since 2002 against Michigan.
0-4.
0-4. They have not beat Michigan this century.
At least Michigan can beat one big team.
I agree with that
Yeah,
statement.
don't talk about the team in Ohio because it might make some people mad.
I'm just going to go ahead and take this to start with. I think Michigan's defense is really good. I don't think it. It's obviously really good. It's not an unpopular opinion. Florida, I mean, Dan Mullen, I like the guy. I've always liked the guy. I think everybody who watches SEC football did.
It's hard not to.
And I picked Florida because of the SEC bias, I'm going to be honest. And,
Nothing wrong with that.
in these big games, I don't know what it is about Harbaugh. He just, early in the season, he'll be whatever big team you put in front of him.
Yeah.
But when it comes down to it, when it matters,
Yeah, when it's crunch time.
he just doesn't have it. I don't know what it is, but I feel kind of iffy putting all my confidence in Harbaugh there in that situation.
I think Florida's going to use, especially Dan Mullen's a smart enough guy, especially on offense. They're going to use the Ohio State tactic. We're going to run crossing routes until Michigan decides we're going to stop it. Florida has too many athletes. There's too many good athletes and speed in the SEC on that team for Michigan to match up. I just
It's
don't
another
see
one of
it.
those situations, too, where Florida, you look at the teams that they're playing,
Yeah.
and I know Michigan played a lot of good teams, too, but, Michigan State's not what it usually was. Don't try to sit there and tell me. I don't even know if they played Northwestern, but
They did. They almost lost, actually.
you tell me, don't try to tell me Northwestern's a true top 25 team.
They're 8-5.
Compared to a top 25 SEC team.
Yeah.
So Florida's losses, Michigan's losses, some losses aren't equal.
So the next game we have is the Belt Bowl. We have Virginia versus South Carolina. We all chose South Carolina on this one. I think South Carolina's got a good football team. SEC bias in this one. Virginia had, well, no, it was Virginia Tech. Yeah, South Carolina. I just think they're a better football team than Virginia is.
I don't necessarily think South Carolina's a good football team. I just think they're a better football team than Virginia.
All right, so the next game we have is the Arizona Bowl. We have Nevada versus Arkansas State. Last I checked, Arkansas State was the favorite in this game.
That is correct, sir.
I chose Nevada just as an upset. This was tough because I really like Arkansas State. But, this is one of those games where I think Nevada will be able to pull up the upset.
For me, Nevada in the Arizona Bowl, if the fans travel, they could essentially have somewhat of a home field advantage. I'm not saying that fans from either of these schools are going to travel great, but you're going to have a lot more. I feel like the fans are going to be skewed a little bit, and I think that's going to be the difference maker because I don't think either of these teams just jump out.
Yeah.
All right, so the next game we got is the Military Bowl. We have Virginia Tech and Cincinnati. All chose Cincinnati. 2 key points I want to hit on right here. Virginia Tech had a really bad loss against Old Dominion. I'm pretty sure they were up.
That's an understatement.
Like, they were up a good portion of that game and then just fell apart.
It doesn't even matter.
Like, it's a
Yeah,
loss to
doesn't
Old
matter.
Dominion.
To Old Dominion in football.
That's all you need.
Yeah,
to know.
yeah. And then Cincinnati, they were one of the last 5 teams to be undefeated this year. They were 8-0, along with Alabama, Clemson, Notre Dame, and UCF. So, I mean, they finished 10-2. So,
Yeah, great year.
You go with a team that's finishing high.
yeah, but Cincinnati, they're a good football team this year.
Yeah.
So,
That was my choice too.
Yeah.
I don't
We
have
all
anything to
it's
say
all
about
against
that.
Cincinnati. We're gonna run through these next ones. Sun Bowl, Pittsburgh, Stanford. All pick Stanford.
Yeah.
Red Box Bowl, Michigan State, Oregon. All pick Oregon. Russell picked Michigan State.
Did you really?
Yeah. He's not here to defend himself. Yeah.
That's a bold move.
I don't know.
There's no defense in that game.
Next game is Liberty Bowl. We have OK State, Missouri. We all picked Missouri except Sean picked OK State.
right.
Interesting pick there, man.
Yeah.
Just any reason or just gut pick?
OK State, they just hit or miss sometimes, but when they hit, like they'll show you that they're there.
Yeah.
So I feel like they're gonna beat Missouri, pretty good, but Missouri's got a pretty good quarterback,
Drew Lock.
Drew Lock's a really
and
good
the running back's pretty solid also.
Mhm.
But no, I gotta go with OK State.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like you said. When Oak State plays good, they play really well. Beating Texas, beating West Virginia, but when they lose,
Yeah.
they lost to Texas Tech and K-State.
Exactly.
On bad years.
Like we
Exactly.
touched on earlier, there are certain teams in college football who look great and then they inevitably mess it up. And
Yeah.
Every
Oregon
year.
State is one of those teams every
That's
single
a
year.
Mike Gundy team. I mean,
It's just you
it's-
can count on 9 to 10 wins and no big game at
Yeah.
the end of the season.
Absolutely
That's
not.
Next game we got is Holiday Bowl, number 22 Northwestern, number 17 Utah. We all picked Northwestern except Davey picked Utah.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you're looking for defensive, low scoring, this is your game.
Yeah.
I mean, both these teams play really physical on defense to be maybe undersized, especially Northwestern's case. I think Northwestern's going to be beat up. They've had a rough year. You play Michigan, you play Ohio State, you play these big schools, Wisconsin and
Notre Dame.
Notre Dame. You've struggled through. You've almost won maybe 10, 11 games, honestly. They lost a couple by 1 score.
Yeah.
But Utah played really well against Washington in the Pac-12 championship game a few weeks ago. Arguably should have won. A couple turnovers late, a couple picks. I'm just going to stick with Utah. I think they're going to have enough athletes to win the game.
Usually, this is against how I usually pick, but I'm taking the team that lost some close games against the really good teams over the team that won some games over.
It's going to be close. It's going to be interesting.
Next game we got is Gator Bowl, NC State, Texas A&M. We all chose A&M. Outback Bowl, Iowa, Mississippi State. Everybody chose Mississippi State. I do think Iowa is one of those teams that can upset a ranked team like that. They almost did it to Penn State last year.
Yeah, Mississippi State, too much talent. That defense is
And
nasty.
then you got
Test Sweat.
You got Nick Fitzgerald coming back and playing in this bowl game
Yeah,
this year.
that's a
He went
good point,
into
too.
last year.
The way he's been,
This is his last game in the
Yeah,
red
it's
and
his last
white.
game, so I
he's
think
been playing like a bit.
It's going to be physical. It's going to be a physical game.
It is.
And that tight end they have, Johnson, is good.
You talking about Funny Man's cousin?
Yeah, Funny Man's cousin. Yeah,
Funny Man.
He's a pretty good
It's the
football
real
player.
deal.
All right, here we go.
Is this the national championship game?
No, it's
close,
but not
It's
yet.
the first
Oh,
playing of it.
yeah, I
It's
thought it
the
was
first
the-
playing of it, right?
I thought it was the national
Yeah,
championship.
Yeah.
You're not here for UCF.
Hey, they're trying to repeat.
All right, so we got the Fiesta Bowl. We have UCF versus LSU. We all picked LSU except Russell. Russell picked UCF.
A lot of picks.
I think that was more of a troll pick.
Yeah,
Gotta be that guy.
I think that was the call there.
please beat UCF.
Look at
Please.
it. Address LSU directly.
Yeah.
Coach.
Coach better
Get
give you
closer.
his.
Get closer.
This may be his
Please.
lock of
There
the
you go.
bowl season right here.
Beat UCF. Auburn brought this pain and torture on us last year by losing to
So
UCF.
did-
They're on
So
a
did
25 game win streak. What do you have to say to that?
Beat UCF.
An average team would have had a 25% chance to go undefeated. An average team. A Boston College, for reference. We're not talking about anything that serious.
Yeah.
Please LSU, take care.
All right, so next bowl we got is Kentucky versus Penn State. Everybody picked Kentucky except me. I understand that this is one of those SEC, root for each other, but They have a good running back. I like Benny Snell a lot.
Everybody likes Benny Snell.
It's hard to like. He likes Waffle House.
Yeah.
Waffle House.
Can't go against
There
that.
you go. But I just think Trace McSorley is going to have a really good day against that defense.
I'm worried he didn't go to class enough for taking up notes.
It's possible. It's possible. But I think Penn State's going to pull this out.
I'm sorry.
Oh, that's awesome. I got a bet. Like, okay, so which bowl is this? The name of it
The
officially?
Citrus Bowl.
They missed. Man, there was a marketing faux pas here. Meow Mix Bowl would have been flawless.
That's true.
We got Nittany Lions and Wildcats. Sorry, dad joke at
That's
night.
true.
I had to get it out. It was on my paper. I got to get it out.
You
Yeah.
wrote that down.
Oh, it's on the paper right here.
You wrote that down
right
so you
there.
wouldn't forget that joke.
Absolutely. I mean, you can't
That
have
was a joke
something
worthy of writing down.
You can't have something that bad and not forget it.
That's true. I feel like I'd want to forget something.
So Penn State.
I'm picking Penn State in this.
Can you give a score? Like, can I write this? I want to write a score down just to hold you to it.
27-14.
Will you have
Wow.
if you
That's
Doubling
okay.
them up there.
are you gonna have a punishment for this? Just like
This is not, no, not for this game.
I want a gentleman's bet.
yeah, a gentleman's bet.
Absolutely.
I would be fair.
One
for
whole
this.
dollar.
We have one fair for it. I mean,
I'll give
Are we
you
talking?
that.
I'm
Okay,
good on
what
that.
are we talking? Are we talking about covering like the 13 here, or are we talking
They have
about?
to cover the 13 points he just gave him. So
Okay, fine. What do you
I'll
want?
take the
Do you want to do gentlemen's bet, or are we gonna pass on this episode?
I'll do it if you do it on the next game.
what's the next?
What's the
game?
next one?
Ohio State, Washington.
Ooh.
Ohio
Who did
State,
he-
Washington.
shout out to-
I'll do it.
Oh, that's a way easier.
I'll
pick
do
for
it.
you.
That's
I'll
so
do
much
it.
easier.
Okay, he's in. So what? You two determine the gentleman's bet for us, and then we will determine. Ben and I will determine y'all's two.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
We'll come back to that. Just keep rolling.
All right, so next game, like I said, is the Rose Bowl, Washington versus Ohio State. We all picked Ohio State except Sean. Sean picked Washington.
You got some explaining to do. I'm sorry.
Oh, I forgot you picked them.
I just don't like Ohio State.
Not a lot of people do.
I just don't like Urban Meyer. But now that he's leaving, I don't care.
My man. That's what we're talking about.
I
Now
don't care.
I better company than I came in with.
I don't know what it is with Ohio State. I can give credit where credit's due.
They're good.
They're good.
They're good.
They're solid.
See what it is?
Good is pushing
They
it.
hire a bunch of shady coaches.
They hired some shady coaches.
So did
Get results.
didn't we just hire DJ Durkin?
No. Okay.
No, we didn't.
With Ohio State, I feel
Are you
like
sure?
No, I'm sure.
Offensive analyst.
I'll show you later. It's not.
with Ohio State,
I'll show you.
I feel like Ohio State always has like good recruits. They always have the talent to be. They always have the talent to be like up there in the rankings, but with their coaching, it just never translates to me to like that dominant team. You know what I mean?
They won the first playoff. They won the first year that we had the playoffs. They won the championship,
2014.
Yeah.
and they haven't done much since. I mean, they've won some big games. Don't get me wrong. They just haven't.
They're always
They
in the
are.
conversation. They've been
Yeah.
one of the last teams out.
They're a
Yeah.
solid team.
Yeah, they're a solid team, but
but
they,
I don't think they're good enough to. They just haven't made that hump for me.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, but Washington isn't any better.
I agree with that, but
Comparable.
they started
This-
against Auburn at the beginning of the year.
this
That's
pick-
week
And they
one, though.
lost.
You
I mean,
can't-
I mean, it is.
But if you're
It
doing
is.
that, then you're saying Ohio State lost to Purdue.
They did.
So
Which is probably worse.
yeah, you want to struggle against a team. that's
Auburn's still
ranked top
7-5 playing SEC talent.
Okay.
You have those two teams playing each other to establish which loss is worse.
Actually, that's a good
in the
point.
whole game.
Yeah.
Okay.
December
yeah,
28th.
That's right. Yeah, that's
The
true.
first-
That's
11
right.
days
I didn't think about that.
This
That's right.
pick
The
solely
11
for
a.m.
me-
game, December
This
28th.
pick
will solve
solely
that
for
problem.
me is I'm just being completely biased against Ohio State just because
I understand that.
there's always that one team that you just don't like.
Yeah, and Ohio State. Well,
We just happen to have graduated from that other team that you just don't like.
Exactly.
yeah.
But to elaborate on that, Longhorns. I don't know. I don't like Ohio State, but Washington's gonna take this. I'll put a gentleman's bet on this if you want to.
We will come back to that.
I-
Ben and I will collaborate and come back and make sure it's a good one.
Okay.
All right, next game.
No, these are all.
This one,
All
this
chalk
one,
the
yeah,
rest of the way.
yeah. It's all right. The next game we got is the Sugar Bowl. We got Texas against Georgia.
No,
Georgia's don't come out pissed off. They're gonna come out and
I think
they're
if-
gonna smoke Texas.
Even if Georgia comes out disappointed, first of all, Texas has just as much reason to be disappointed.
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
Basically giving the game away. I mean, they
Yeah.
had Oklahoma.
Oh, yeah, they had them beat.
again. So I think it's just two teams that should have finished the season a lot better and had the games in their
Opportunities,
hands.
yeah.
And Georgia of those two teams is far better, just
Yeah. Oh yeah.
noticeably better.
Yeah, I think it's what you alluded to earlier with who were you talking about? That was a little ahead of themselves.
Miami last
Miami,
week.
yeah. I think Texas is kind of in that boat now. They were not supposed to be a 9-10 win team. We're looking at 8-4 at best. They got there a little early in year 2 under Tom Herman. I'm with y'all. I think Georgia. There's too much talent, too many athletes. Probably going to be a little mad, even unmotivated. I think they come out and just stomp Texas.
All right, next game we got Cotton Bowl.
Ooh,
Notre
man.
Dame and Clemson. Now look, Notre
Can
Dame.
both of these teams lose? Is that possible?
Please.
I wish. I really wish.
Notre Dame's a good team. They're not as good as Clemson. Alabama and Clemson are on their own level, and they have been all year long. I don't think this is going to be a close game.
No.
I think maybe in the first quarter it could be. After that, Clemson runs away with it. I'm with him. I want both of them to lose because
It's hard to like both
It's-
either
yeah.
of these teams. It
Now-
really is.
Especially Notre Dame. Notre Dame's way worse than
yeah.
Clemson.
They have talent. Every skill position, both sides of the ball. The line, they're going to win, the trenches, both sides of the ball.
Yeah.
Notre Dame, it's good that Notre Dame has these seasons every now and then because it makes people maybe say, hey, join a conference, and then we won't have this argument.
Yeah.
Because right now you're playing, Vanderbilt, Northwestern, who we established earlier. Good teams, not great teams.
all right. So next game we got is the Orange Bowl. We have Oklahoma and Alabama. We all chose Alabama. I think part of that may be a little bias.
I'm just going to establish right now there was no bias in that pick at all.
There was
But
nobody
there could be a
that
little-
pick for me either.
Okay.
Actually,
I
not.
love the tie,
actually-
but
Yeah.
20-something points I think they're going to win by.
They
20.
opened as a 14-point favorite. 14-point favorite. Okay.
I think that's a little low.
I think so too.
You also have
That's
to look
scary.
at Tua and Kyler were Heisman finalists. Tua had it all year long up until the Georgia game. They give it to Kyler.
Well deserving, though.
Yeah, he deserved. Yeah.
Well
Give it to
deserved.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
It was
like,
1A and
I mean,
1B.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Honestly, I would even throw in 1C. Dwayne Haskins.
Haskins.
Oh, yeah, Haskins, yeah.
Any other?
that was.
Dude, he had the better
He was
stats.
disrespectful.
Other than
His stats
QBR
were rude.
over
His
the
stats
other
were
two.
rude.
That's a conversation for later.
Yeah, we can't get into that.
However, I think you saw the all the defensive players taken to social media after Kyler did win, kind of
For Alabama.
for Alabama, kind of upset them a little bit. So I think we're going to go into this game. Obviously Oklahoma does not have a very good defense.
Last rated pass defense in FBS.
I think it's smart to keep Kyler Murray off the field.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That dude,
He's a playmaker.
he's a playmaker.
pure
He's-
athlete.
He's one of the best playmaking quarterbacks that I can remember watching in a long time.
I feel like
Yeah.
I hear that hyperbole every single year.
I mean, you do.
Yeah.
But
We heard
like,
it with Cam.
this, you did.
RG3.
Yeah.
There's always
Mariota.
that one.
But I mean, I think from seeing what I've seen from him is more than what I've seen.
Even
Looking
compared
back
to Mayfield last
now.
year, it's the same offense, same
And then
scheme,
the
same-
numbers aren't that different.
And I mean,
They aren't.
It's
I
complicated.
mean, yeah, but then you gotta.
We could debate this all day.
Yeah,
probably.
we could.
I just feel like they need to keep Kyler off the field because of his playmaking abilities.
Yeah.
He's kind of like Johnny Manziel with the quick feet,
Yeah.
Right.
but he's faster than Johnny Manziel.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
He's a
Absolutely.
better athlete than Johnny
Absolutely.
Manziel.
Yeah.
without a doubt.
I think a lot of the explosive offensive plays for him in the Big 12, the defenses are subpar pretty much across the board.
Yeah.
And
Take out
a
Iowa
lot
State.
of his are, drop back, hold on, sling it,
Yep.
and one of the two receivers we talked about goes and gets it. I don't see that working against Alabama. I feel like a couple of takeaways are inevitable if that's his game plan, tucking and running, quick passes, and then every now and then just hurtling the ball, hurling it down the field. I don't see that working out well.
And that's
Pick
the thing.
them
That's the thing with Tua has to understand. You don't have to go
The
for the home run ball every single play.
Yep.
You've got guys that are open. There were some drop passes. Obviously, we all
You've
saw
got some of
those.
the best athletes in the country.
They need to use Waddle
Award
way
winners
more
across
than
the-
that.
Yeah,
I
absolutely,
completely agree with
absolutely.
you.
I think I will
Him
say
and
this.
Irv Smith, man.
Yes.
I will say this. I think that the maybe not the deciding factor, but I think the player that's going to show out the most is going to be Jalen Waddle. Special teams, offense.
But he's on the field.
Yeah, I mean he is. But I think he's
that's
going to
safe to
have.
say.
I think he's going to have the best game out of all the wide receivers.
I can see them trying to kick away from him though.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So I don't know about him having a great
Yeah.
game on special teams because they're going to look at the film and be like, I'm not putting
I
it in
would.
his
Yeah,
hands.
I understand that. I understand that.
So you'll be looking
But
at
then
a
again,
lot of
you have
out of
to-
bounds and a lot of high punts. For
You
Richardson.
have to see how many punts you think they're going to punt.
I mean, there's too many weapons
Yeah.
on Alabama's
Yeah.
offense.
There is.
I mean,
So
closer to time.
that's all the
Yeah.
bowl games.
We'll wait on the national championship matchup.
Yeah, we'll
That's
wait
not
on that.
set in stone
it's-
yet.
it's-
Yeah,
it's
you
not.
can't talk about that yet.
So we'll have our predictions kind of updated after every day of games.
Yeah.
See where everybody's standing. Start tomorrow.
Tomorrow. Is the celebration bowl? It's Sunday.
Yeah, tomorrow.
Saturday.
No, the 15th is the first game.
And we're gonna
It's Saturday.
So tomorrow.
So we're gonna show who we all chose.
We're gonna show everybody we chose,
And the
then we're
punishment.
gonna keep up. Yeah, we're gonna.
We'll figure it
Here's the thing. Here's the thing about
We'll
the punishment.
broadcast it on Twitter.
We'll broadcast on Twitter. We'll let the people decide what the punishment is.
Okay. That's
Yeah,
a good
we're
idea.
gonna do
I
it.
feel pretty confident that Russell's going to be the one that ends up getting stuck with us.
I agree with that.
I'm okay with that.
Every time somebody had and Russell picked this guy, this team, it was.
They picked Michigan State over Oregon. I mean,
It was another one
That's
that
more of a
was a
handful
train
where I
wreck.
was
let me find another one.
Cal
Cal over
somebody-
TCU.
over TCU.
With Miami over Wisconsin.
Look, anybody can beat anybody, but
You're right. You're right.
one
You're right.
game.
We'll see.
You're right.
We
You're
will
right.
see.
You're right, and
That's
that,
for sure.
That means that all of us can beat Russell in this competition.
Exactly. But on paper, he looks pretty bad. Not gonna lie.
All right.
So everybody, that was our first show. We gave it our best shot. We're gonna have more content to come next week. We're gonna brainstorm here, get the next video out as quick as we can. As far as the team goes, Sean, Ben, Will, otherwise known as Coach. I'm Dave. We are Cheap Seat Chatter. We will be coming at you as soon as we get more content and discuss what we're gonna broadcast to you next week. Recap of the bowl games we discussed tonight, and more info to come. Follow us at Twitter on Cheap Seat Chats. Let us know any questions, comments, feedback. We'll gladly appreciate it. You guys have a good one.